Thanks so much to the developers for the review copy. Are any of you fans of classic adventure games like Monkey Island, Beneath a Steel Sky or Space Quest? What was your favourite point and click game? Let me know. Remember, each month we're giving away a game to the most active subscriber down in the comments. I would never condone the consumption of anything that rhymes with smushrooms, but I'm pretty sure this game has had a hefty handful of them. It is completely insane and it knows it. As a massive fan of point and clicks and JRPGs myself, I sense the Guybrush Threepwood in this one. But is it a mighty fun game, or is this one a rubber chicken? Let's find out. Put on your tinfoil hats, because this is going to mess with your head. In episode 1 you play as FBI agent Watracio Walpurgis, the vampire eggplant. Unfortunately, or fortunately, otherwise there'd be no game, he stumbles across the town of Flamingo's Creek, which only appears once every 25 years on Albatross Road. Supposedly the stuff of nightmares. There is one thing I can promise you about story here. There are several moments you will never forget, ever. Even if you want to. Without spoiling them, I'm not saying they are necessarily good things, just expect some seriously weird dreams after playing this one. Having finished the game, I can say this is certainly just the beginning of a wider adventure, and I'm keen to see who this mysterious Inhabitant 64 turns out to be. You can talk to characters throughout your adventure in traditional JRPG style, but many of the puzzles are presented in a more traditional point and click way. When you've had your head in this world for over an hour, they seem logical, although they are completely bonkers. The whole aim of the game is to escape the town. Story gets 13 out of 20. Not enough is explained yet in my opinion, as this is only episode 1, but it was certainly an experience to behold.
What's the matter with you? You! That's what's the matter with me! I'm sick of you! I hate you! I hate what you do! I hate everything about you! Oh no! I hate what you do!
I thought the music was bloody fantastic. You might listen to it and hate it. I expect it from some people. It's like jazz. Some people love that and others can't stand the constant fluctuations and lack of a clear structure. You'll have to make up your own mind here, but I just thought it fit the aesthetic perfectly. Now it isn't perfect on every level. Repetition is an issue, and at points some areas the loop is just so obvious. But for me, music was just so unique and catchy. I have to give it props. Sounds are strange. I can't really give you much more than that. There is this really annoying noise that plays every time you're near an interactive item. Just listen to this. HT Rumble must have gone to a festival after consuming too many of those aforementioned garden fungi and seems to be absent without leave here. Oh well. Music is saved by its music really, and it scores 15 out of 20. Controlling Agent Walpurgis is simple enough. The camera sits well and truly in the familiar top-down Zelda zone. You can move around the environment and interact with characters and items. Your current item is shown at the top right of the screen. The puzzling is very simple indeed. I don't think I got stuck at all in this one. You'll rarely, if ever, need to combine inventory items, and a little wandering will usually point you where you need to go. The conversations you'll have are usually very, very strange, with characters seemingly out of their minds, with little to no coherent dialogue. What I will say though is that the game made me laugh out loud a few times. I love that. That's what makes a game memorable. Moments like that are pretty rare these days. When I think back, some of the only times I've laughed are in point and click adventures. Guybrush doing his insult sword fighting bit, the police officer in recent Darkside Detectives, and now Officer Walpurgis getting slapped with an old school check your manual for the security code to continue the game. I won't spoil it, but good luck finding it. The latter stages had some very annoying moments. One in particular saw you waiting for platforms which moved in sequence. Only they moved so slowly it was incredibly boring. Add to that the fact that you had to go through it several times and it became seriously tedious. Overall gameplay was okay. In the next one they need to create some real, and I mean real like in air quotes, old school puzzles, as this is really just a take X to Y and get key to Z. It was still an enjoyable crazy little introduction to a new world full of lunatics. I personally want more of this world, which is a good sign, either that or I'm a masochist. Gameplay gets 13 out of 20. It's just a little too easy in my opinion. I would have liked some more complex lateral thinking puzzles in there, but it's a good start. The whole game has this strange almost blur applied to the text. Some of the top-down pixel graphics look really nice, while other sections look just bloomin' awful. The game never strays from its bright and unusual colour palette. Then, all of a sudden, as if just to flick the V's at you, it suddenly and inexplicably goes 3D. I laughed out loud at the sight of my cigarette being the only visible item on screen. It handled just like the original Doom and didn't look much better, but I loved how playful the developers were with the game. Nothing is sacred here. There are elements of South Park in some of the visuals and humour certainly. Expect quite a bit of recycling of assets throughout the 9 or so chapters, but I was never bored of the way the game looked. Overall for me, graphics score 14 out of 20. The first episode is pretty short, but much longer than something like a Telltale's episode. All in all, it's around 9 chapters, but some of these are only a screen or two long. At only $5.99, the game feels on point in terms of value. I enjoyed the experience and it certainly is unique. A chain-smoking vampire vegetable is not a character I ever expected, or maybe wanted, to play. For fans of the genre though, I think there is something here. It certainly isn't perfect, but this one could gain a bit of a cult following. Value scores 14 out of 20. If you like new experience, then this one is for you. Some sections are just plain crap, then others are genius. It hasn't a real clue what it is, but it embraces the madness with gusto. At $5.99, you're not going to break the bank by taking a punt on it, and at the end of the day, the Switch is just the perfect fit for a game like this. It gets a final SwitchUp score of 69%. Let us know down in the comments what you thought of the game. As always, we really appreciate the comments you guys make. And as ever, keep it Switch up. See ya!